When she walked into that courtroom, there was no remorse on her face. She was smiling, she was laughing, and when the judge read her charges, capital murder, no bond, she was still laughing. Like the weight of what she had done had not landed on her at all, like she was somewhere else entirely. The man she was charged with killing had spent weeks planning the day she killed him. A pool, an Easter egg hunt, family around, food on the grill. It was also his youngest daughter's 7th birthday. He had combined both celebrations into one big day and invited everyone he loved to come through. By the time the night was over, he was pinned between her SUV and his neighbor's house. Detectives determined there was no evidence of the brakes being applied. Mickese James Bostic was 27 years old, and the woman behind the wheel was the mother of his children. Before we get too deep, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you find value in these discussions. Mickese James Bostic grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. He graduated from Woodlawn High School and went straight to work for Jefferson County. By the time he was 27, he had been serving as an officer at the Jefferson County Family Court and Youth Detention Center for years. That job tells you something about who he was. Because working with incarcerated juveniles is not a job people take for the money or the convenience, it is a job people take because they feel something for those kids. And Mickese felt it. He was young enough to still relate to them, but mature enough to hold them accountable, and they had a lot of respect for him. His co-workers said no one was exempt from being on the receiving end of his jokes, that he always found a way to make you laugh no matter what kind of day you were having. His family described him as energetic, honest, and loving. The people who knew him best called him Keith. On his social media page, he described himself as a comedian, and from everything people said about him, that fit perfectly. He also had a twin brother, Mike Bostic. The two of them had grown up together, navigated life together, and were as close as two people could be. Mickese had 3 biological children of his own, and he had fully stepped into the father role for 2 additional children who were not biologically his, children who belonged to his longtime girlfriend, Shatice Jackson. Shatice Renee Jackson was 30 years old, 3 years older than Mickese. Originally from Fairfax, Virginia, she had been living in Birmingham where the two of them had built a life together. She was a mother of 5, 2 children from before Mickese, and 3 they shared together. If you looked at both of their social media pages, you noticed something. Mickese's page was full of her, photos of the two of them together, videos from trips, birthday tributes, anniversary posts, daily moments. He called her his wife, not in a legal sense, but in the way that mattered to him. That was the woman he was building with and doing everything for. Shatice's page was largely solo content, her own image, her own world. The rare times she posted about Mickese were occasions like anniversaries. Now, people express love differently. Some are private, others are not. But when you look at the full picture of what was documented between these two, there seemed to be an imbalance in how each of them carried the relationship publicly. In November 2024, he took her to Jamaica for her 30th birthday. He posted about it. He made it happen because she wanted it. 2 months later, on Valentine's Day 2025, Shatice posted, "Best Valentine's Day gift ever. This man moved us into a bigger and better house. 5 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, basically 2 living rooms, upstairs, downstairs, a huge backyard. I couldn't ask for anything better. I don't even want nothing else today. This was more than enough. Thank you, Daddy. We love you with everything in us. I have some making up to do." That was February. By April, something had shifted. On April 16th, 4 days before Easter, Shatice reposted something that read, "The ugliest trait about a Scorpio is their anger. Scorpios really are calm people. They don't even be doing all that. Scorpios just hate feeling disrespected or played. It turns them into a whole different person. They react first and think later." The next day, April 17th, she reposted again. "Scorpios can't unsee anything. Once you make a Scorpio look at you different, they'll never look at you the same again. Scorpios will forgive you, but they'll always feel like they got to watch or limit how they show you love because Scorpios put their trust in you and then you blew it. Now you got the dangerous side of a Scorpio, and that's not a place you want to be." And then on April 18th, 2 days before Easter, "The Scorpio in me will tweak out in a minute." Then she added, "Man, I can't help it." 3 posts, 3 days in a row, building towards something. April 20th came anyway. Mickese had been planning this day for weeks. He reached out to cousins days before telling them to slide through. The pool was going to be open, Easter egg hunt, come make some memories. The celebration was held in the 700 block of Lisa Lane in the Roebuck Springs area of Birmingham. He had gone all out because he always did. For most of the afternoon, it was exactly what it was supposed to be. family around, children playing, food on the grill, music and laughter. But around the evening hours, an argument reportedly broke out between Shatice and Mickese's family members. According to reports, Mickese initially held Shatice down in an attempt to calm her during that argument. Birmingham police were called to the residence. They responded, assessed the situation, determined that nothing criminal had taken place, and left. Minutes after police cleared the scene, Shatice Jackson returned to Lisa Lane. This time she came back with a firearm. Another argument broke out outside the residence. The entire confrontation, from the moment she returned to the moment it ended, happened outside. As she moved toward her SUV to leave, Mickese's family followed her. That is when she fired a shot into the air. Then she got into her SUV. 4 of her children were inside the vehicle. Prosecutors stated that she tried to hit Mickese Bostic, not once, but twice. When she missed the first attempt, she turned the wheel again and drove directly into him. Mickese Bostic ended up pinned between the SUV and his neighbor's house. Birmingham Fire and Rescue responded. Officers from all 4 precincts went to Lisa Lane after a max officer emergency was called over the radio. The scene was so chaotic that East Precinct officers alone could not bring it under control. More than 25 units responded. When officers arrived, Mickese's family had Shatice pinned on the ground, yelling that she had run him over. Detectives determined there was no evidence of the brakes being applied. Mickese James Bostic was pronounced dead. He was 27 years old. His youngest daughter's 7th birthday was the next day. The same day it happened, Shatice Jackson posted, "I don't feel bad at all."
Brenda, investigators say 27-year-old Mickese James Bostic died after being hit, but an autopsy will determine his exact cause of death. Now, I'm told an argument between Bostic and his children's mother escalated to the point where a gun was involved and eventually led to his death. A deadly act of rage between a mother and father unfolded with their children possibly in the back seat. Birmingham police say they responded to a chaotic scene on Lisa Lane around 9:50 Easter Sunday night. It was initially 4 shots being fired, but while en route, officers received an update.
Officers were updated that a female was trying to run over a male in a vehicle.
Investigators found 27-year-old Mickese James Bostic pinned between a vehicle and a house where a birthday party and Easter celebration had taken place.
The female suspect did in fact run over the male. He was trapped between the vehicle and a house.
Investigators say the incident stemmed from a domestic argument between Bostic and a woman he shares children with. A large crowd, including family members and children, witnessed the incident. It got so chaotic, Birmingham police had to call a max emergency for all officers to respond to the scene.
There's a large commotion. Family members were visibly upset because their loved one was just hit, and officers could not get the scene under control with East Precinct officers.
Under Alabama law, this deadly incident could mean serious charges if intent is determined.
Because those kids were there, this can now be a capital murder case. Because anytime in Alabama when there's a child that the couple shares in common that's under the age of 14, you now could be looking at capital murder.
Shatice was placed on a 48-hour felony hold and booked into Birmingham City Jail. The following day, April 21st, homicide detectives presented the case to the Jefferson County Magistrate's office. A capital murder warrant was issued because the children were in the car when it happened. Under Alabama law, when a couple shares a child under the age of 14 and one parent kills the other, it can be charged as capital murder. She was transferred to Jefferson County Jail, no bond. When Shatice Jackson walked into a courtroom days later for her first appearance, there was no remorse on her face. She was smiling. At certain points, she was laughing. She was whispering across the courtroom like she hadn't felt the weight of what had just happened. Her hair was visibly out of place on one side. Her attorney later claimed Mickese's family had pulled her hair during the confrontation. Whether that was strategy or truth, the image she presented in that courtroom was one that left people stunned. Was this a woman who truly felt nothing? Or was this calculated, knowing exactly how it would look? The community response came hard and fast. A candlelight vigil was held at the Jefferson County Youth Detention Center where Mickese had worked. Staff and co-workers gathered to remember a man they described as not just a co-worker or a friend, but family. The director of the facility spoke about who he was to the young people in that building.
He was 27 years old. He could relate to them. He was young enough to still have relatability to them, but old enough to still be able to hold them accountable, and they had a lot of respect for him.
Loved ones released balloons in front of the building where Bostic changed lives. Jefferson County Commissioner Sheila Tyson also spoke at that vigil. Domestic violence is real, and it doesn't only happen to women. Men go through domestic violence too, and they need treatment.
Domestic violence is real, and it doesn't only happen to women. Men go through domestic violence too, and they need treatment.
The detention center made a commitment that night, not just to show up for the memorial, but to continue showing up for Mickese's children. Building a bears for the kids at the vigil, plans for the summer lunch program, a commitment to keep them connected to their father's co-workers. The people who loved him were not going to let those children feel forgotten. Mickese's twin brother Mike posted about his passing. "My twin brother is gone. You were a good-hearted person. Everybody loved you. I always said that about you. I'm going to miss everything about you, Mickese Bostic. I just can't type right now, but I'm hurt. I lost my other half." His mother Jennifer posted after the grand jury indictment came down in March 2026. "My son Mickese Bostic was one of a kind, a good-hearted young man. He tried to give her the world, did everything for her, even her two oldest children. He loved them and took care of them as his own. Nothing was never good enough for her. Why would she run my son over with that SUV? The pain is so bad and hard. Almost a year later, it feels like it happened yesterday." His cousin posted on April 21st, the day after. "Imagine as a good family-oriented man, you meet a woman with two kids who really didn't have much, and you take and love her two kids like your own. Imagine treating a woman like a queen. Imagine getting all types of gifts. Imagine taking a woman out of the country to see things she has never seen before. Imagine buying a woman a 5-bedroom nice family home to live comfortably. He did whatever to keep you and yours happy, and her thanks and appreciation was to take his life in front of his kids, his mom, his twin, and his sisters." Even people from Shatice's own circle said it. Someone who knew them both posted, "Why couldn't y'all just fight and make up like y'all used to? Y'all loved each other so much, the dynamic duo. When you saw Shatice, you saw Keith, and when you saw Keith, he was definitely lit up with Shatice. This got out of hand." Even from her side, this should not have happened. On the other side of it, Shatice's mother, Shatice Jackson, posted on May 2nd. "It is worth reading because it is the statement of a mother sitting in the middle of an impossibly painful place. I'm also grieving. I lost a man that I called my son-in-law. I loved him as well. This seems like all a dream. My baby is not a bad person. It's something that happened in the heat of the moment. They loved each other. They had good times and bad times. There's no perfect relationship. I am so sorry that this happened. I love both of y'all. I'm going to miss Mickese Bostic. He always told me he loved me. That was my son too." On March 13th, 2026, a Jefferson County grand jury formally indicted Shatice Renee Jackson on capital homicide. The indictment was made public on March 23, 2026. She had been in Jefferson County Jail without bond since her arrest in April 2025. At the preliminary hearing in June 2025, the defense argued the case was overcharged, that Shatice had been attacked, outnumbered, and trying to escape, and that at worst she should face manslaughter. Prosecutors pushed back directly. She tried to hit him, not once, but twice. As of the time this video was made, Shatice Renee Jackson remains in custody awaiting trial. No trial date has been set. Back in July 2018, years before any of this happened, Mickese had posted about the enemy attacking his family during the holidays. It was on Easter Sunday, one of the most significant holidays of the year, that he lost his life. And in September 2023, he reposted this. "Lord, if I don't ask you for nothing else and I mean nothing, please keep me here for my kids. Y'all keep taking these mothers and fathers away from their babies." He felt those words. He shared them. Less than 2 years later, his children faced exactly what he feared most. 5 children. The youngest was turning 7 the very next day. Rest in peace, Mickese James Bostic. Rest easy, Keith. I hope these stories help you recognize warning signs and encourage you to seek help or offer support before it's too late. I'll see you in the next episode of Another Crime. Thank you for watching.